Hello, everybody, and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. My name is Adam Harris from Trade with Precision, and today I want to do a spotlight on several charts. Actually, I'm going to start off here with the euro dollar. So what I want to point out, first of all, is we've had a very sort of mercilessly strong US dollar, and we've become quite overextended, overdue for a bit of a correction. Having a look here at euro dollar on the weekly, you can see this very rhythmical, cyclical behavior with the euro dollar on the weekly. And I believe what we're looking at here is the beginning of a retracement within this downtrend, which should see euro dollar head up towards 1.04 before potentially resuming the trend to the downside. If I look at both of the momentum indicators, they are both relatively bearish. There's no signs of bullishness entering, which means there's no signs of exhaustion in the trend at this time, which means that it is likely going to continue when it reaches a point of equilibrium and reverts back to its trend. So just looking at it here on a daily basis, what I've done is I've thrown in 2 Fibonacci measurements. We've got a couple of clusters here. So clusters are areas where we have an overlap of multiple Fibonacci levels, as well as other potential technical indicators. So I'm just highlighting from measuring these recent highs. We've got 50 and a 618, and we've got a 382 and a 6. Which one is it? A 618. I beg your pardon, a 50 and a 382 and a 50 and a 618 from various measurements overlapping here, indicating there's both a cluster level here at approximately 1.0275 and also another one at closer to 0.0365. I think, however, looking at this, there is also a previous level of support, and therefore I think it's most likely the price is going to work its way up at a minimum towards 1.0365 before finding or encountering strong resistance. I think that's where the sellers are likely to come in. Again, it might actually be a little bit over that area, but that area is going to be jam-packed with selling orders from the bears, and I think the bears are likely to come in. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up with a strong rejection or bearish rejection candle at that point, which could then be an indicator that the trend is likely to continue back down to the downside. So just want to talk to you about that level, which we'll call 1.0365 at this time, and this is really where I expect the market to head towards in the shorter term. Moving on to cable, so we've basically what we have is that potential for a weaker dollar in the shorter term as those weekly charts are doing their retracements. We can see as well, if you look at cable, we've had a strong Kiwi and strong Aussie dollar, but you can see also historically sterling has come back down to major historical lows and also does look as though it is wanting to do a bit of a retracement back up in towards around about the 1.220 area. So what does this mean? It does mean for day traders, there is the possibility here for shorter term trades to the upside, but it is very important, obviously, to keep an eye on major levels of support and resistance, because those are areas where the market could encounter stronger resistance and where more sell orders will come in. So I'm looking for shorter term buys up to these levels and just keeping an eye on where those major levels are. Say, for example, on a daily basis, I just want to be aware of those. So we've got a little bit more bullish divergence coming here. The market is a little bit slower. Sterling is, relatively speaking, stronger than euro against the dollar, and therefore I do expect it to potentially push up a little bit higher, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do encounter some resistance at 1.22 or 1.23. Moving on to gold. So gold at the moment, also a very, very strong downtrend. It is actually approaching the bottom of its range on a monthly basis, and therefore if we do end up with a strong rejection of this level, we could find ourselves going back up towards the top of the range. So what does that mean? It means that I'm looking for, at least I can see on the 4 hour, I can see some bullish divergence starting to creep in on the indicators. I apologize that I have duplicates of these indicators here. We can just forget those for now. And so here I'm starting to see a bit of bullish divergence creeping in on the 4 hour, which indicates that the 4 hour is getting ready to start to push up a little bit higher. That is usually a good indication. You can see here it is starting to trend higher on both the RSI and MACD. Price, however, is still pushing down at the lows. It is at a major level, and therefore what I'm looking for in the coming days, and certainly potentially over the next week, is to see price start to break higher, attempt to break through its resistance at 1750 and try and push up a little bit higher, starting to head up and do a bit of a daily retracement. So this is what I'm looking for, is gold ultimately I have to be prepared that there could well be a continuation back down to this level, but I'm looking for shorter term moves to the upside towards 1750 for shorter term trading. And then I'm looking for any bearish setups here that could indicate a continuation to the downside. Should price break back up above 1800 in a single move, in other words, it starts to head higher, heads up there, then it becomes much more likely that we're going to see in the medium term or longer term, we're going to see gold work its way back up, and it's going to reject that support level on the monthly time frame. So again, silver is also offering the same thing. We've got bullish divergence, my MACD is trending higher, RSI is trending higher, but we've got fresh lows on price here. So silver itself is also starting to look more and more bullish. And so I'm waiting for price to start to break through these highs. It'll attract more buyers, it'll start to accelerate and start to look more and more bullish. Then moving on to dollar yen, which is also on my list. Just wanted to highlight that as I'm sort of recording this, prices pulled back to the previous old highs. There was a bit of a breakout there on the daily time frame. It's pulled back, it's connected with the moving averages, and currently is sort of producing a bit of a bullish candle here. So what I'm looking for, I mean, overall there's a little bit of bearish divergence creeping in on the MACD indicator, which hints at that there is some risk that dollar yen is a bit overextended, and therefore it could be setting up to go through the motions but then fail and actually do a deeper correction. So one way I might approach this is to reduce my risk, not go to full 1%, possibly go at 0.5% or 0.25%, looking for an entry above the high of today's close candle to see if the market can follow through and carry on. And also I'm concerned about how it's going to react when it gets up to this 139 level. There's been some strong reaction there in the past, and therefore it could fail to do that. But in isolation, this is a traditional buy signal. For me, it looks nice and bullish and looking for it to continue to the upside. I'm just a little bit concerned about that divergence and that level there, and therefore what I might do is just reduce my risk. This could also provide intraday opportunities, trading on the 15 minutes as we go from where we are now up into these highs. Kiwi Swissy, also a little bit unusual, I know, to be looking at some of the pairs like this, but Kiwi Swissy, I quite like the fact that it is currently attempting to create a flat level breakout. So I'm just going to go ahead and just draw that level in. I'm looking for, thank you very much, you can give it to me, there we go, and you did it again, there we go. Looking for price to break up through this level, and I expect it to have a nice gain momentum and start to do a move up towards 6150, possibly 6200 there, looking for that to be a nice move. And so certainly I'm not interested in getting in there until we break above these previous highs, but we've got a nice higher low, and this could be a very nice, relatively safe move to the upside into the previous lows over here. And finally, just a little bit of the different markets, looking at what's going on with the indices at the moment. Also, this weaker dollar has given the indices to push an opportunity to push back. The strongest one at the moment, the one that's most enthusiastic about pushing higher, is the NASDAQ. Okay, and we can see here we've got a series of higher lows, we've got a flat level. Even today it's attempting to break through that level. So if it is successful in breaking through that level, then I'm going to be looking for this to head up towards 13,000, and that is quite attractive to see if there's some good intraday opportunities as well. 15-minute time frame, looking to see if price can continue pushing higher. So if it fails to break through that, I'd be surprised, but it is a possibility. Then I would potentially just stay away from it and see what's going to happen. Right now, the markets really do seem as though they want to finish the week at a high. Finally, last one here, looking at WTI, looking at US oil. What I did want to highlight here is that this behavior, we are in a downtrend. We are at major levels of support and resistance. Just quickly put that in. We are at a major level. I just wanted to highlight this price action behavior here. This is very bullish price action. It's not the same as we've seen in the previous lows. We've got a strong rejection here. They're all green candles here. They're starting to push up near the highs. In fact, they're starting to come back up to this old high here. A lot of this would imply or hint that there's going to be a bigger push, and therefore the market might want to hit up a little bit higher. So this could also provide some intraday opportunities, go down to those lower time frames, possibly even down to that 1 hour time frame, could provide some good buying opportunities. So right now, the markets seem to be really just watching the dollar. What's the dollar doing? But you can see some really good trends here on the lower time frame for that, and it is looking more and more bullish. So some good opportunities across multiple markets there, being aware of what are the shorter term opportunities versus what is the longer term, or let's call it the medium term. What's going to happen between this week and next week? Is that dollar just taking a breather? I think right now it's more likely it's just taking a temporary breather, and it is probably going to prepare to come back strong. We will know depending on really how the week finishes in early part of next week, but I'm going to be prepared for that. That is my plan A. Thank you very much, folks. Look after yourselves in this heat, depending on where in the world you are. Look after yourselves, and I look forward to chatting to you in future videos.